Attention gamers. The other day my barber, who self-admittedly knows more than economists, told me we are going into a recession, and I can see it with prices of everything going up from greedy salesmen, so I can only imagine companies like Riot are clenching their dumb ignorant ass cheeks looking for ways to boost skin sales to keep their daddies over at Tencent happy with revenue boners, and what better way to spike those sales than with some carefully thought out buffs to completely overpower a certain champ. You see, I'm no league psychologist, but if I wanted to sell the most possible skins, I would probably target a champ that could perform well in pro play to get loser newbie low hard stuck crybabies interested in playing her in their games. But then she has to also be easy to learn and do well on, easy enough for someone like Rav to hit plat with so that bad players want to keep playing her. Then release some mommy costume I want to simp over an anime character fetish skin series like Battle Bunny Booby MF, and you have the perfect recipe to break sales records on skins. But this busty buccaneer has been in a weird spot for a while. She can't compete in hyper carry builds with the cocaine addicted arcane characters at a pro level, so people either play some weird make it rain with comets and build lethality on her, or they build full AP and post a swag video on it. And despite her already being in a good spot, skins need to be sold, so Riot decided to turbo buff the absolute pisshole out of pretty much all her abilities, making her scale harder than ever with crit and attack speed. So today I'm going to show you just how Riot plans on making MF the face of Worlds by overbuffing her to the point where she can 100-0 kids before they can say. And then for the zwags out there that still want to go Comet and rock AP despite there still being haters out there, I will show the best way to build that. And let's just hope the poor small indie company Riot Games will sell a few skins by making this champ into a total raid boss, even though I personally am done giving them my hard-earned money, because Riot must be smoking whatever they confiscated from graves if they think you can afford to be paying their new prices for skins, which is why if you are low on RP, I think Buff, the sponsor of today's video, can help. Buff is a loyalty program approved by Overwolf that rewards you for playing the games you would already be playing. It's incredibly simple and free to get started. First you install it and then let Buff run in the background, and that's it. You are getting points just for being a gamer, with it only tracking your in-game stats to give you points and track progress on challenges in the games you play for even more points, and in case you are worried it does not hog up any of your precious resources. These points can later be exchanged for a giant variety of rewards like skins, Steam credits, and gift cards for the games you play, including this piss pit of a game, League of Legends, where you can use your points to help you get those new expensive skins. So the next time you are stuck in a game where everyone hates each other, you can at least be thankful that you got some buff points for your time. And now if any of this sounds good to you, using my tracking link in the description will get you this month's special deal of 100 bonus starter points instead of the usual 30, and will also help me out, so make sure to download Buff for free today. Okay, so game 1, nothing notable early other than the fact that my flailing bed sheet curtain of a support seemed to have a mega fetish for getting tied up and touching sparkly things, and sure enough, the first time I trusted her to be home alone, the mute moron found a way to get fast pass tickets back to Fountain for herself. Also, there was a wave crashing while our sped Jedi was taking an ambitious dragon, and since we are league players here, when he ultimately died solo to their jungler, it was our fault, which then gave me an eerie feeling that I was being watched, so I went to put a creepy cam in the weeds, only for a wild fucked up Butterfree to appear, so naturally I backed off while Sona remained consistent in deep-throating every bind on Planet Rift. But luckily, as you will see later, this Belveth was just a few fries short of a happy meal in the critical thinking department, so we cashed her generous donation without question. But our ginger spin tits was also getting her tight ass kicked in literally by Elisa in mid, and acting like her favorite streamer Tyler won by saying GG 8 minutes into a game, but it's okay because I was setting myself up for the hardest carry of my life. Starting the second this Sona remembered which button shot her ult, which was my signal to fire up the killer cone, which cleaned up Tron movie Ash and left the rest of us on a pursuit of my banging internet GF, where some of us couldn't exactly hang, but it worked out. Then there was a greed gauntlet right after. A true competition between stupid shitless morons Belveth in one corner and the twirling Cutco knife set of ginger tits in the other, where both sides died due to ineptitude. Then I was thinking dragon, but our Yi, who was zooming off a big cocaine hit, pointed out that a blind bald shitter was practicing his YouTuber boxing match kickies on one of our statues, so we rightfully had to murder him for such behavior first. But I eventually had to leave them unsupervised again, and sure enough my teammates were doing the river roundup routine, which is when I noticed that floating mothball of broken bullshit was sneaking into our backyard, and I knew exactly what she would be up to, so I swooped in last minute to inform her that I had pre-ordered the red she was trying to buy, and clearly this didn't sit well with her, leaving me in a situation where you'd think I was Nicolas Cage in a shitty heist movie having to dodge lasers to survive until all the bad guys die for dumb illogical reasons. So then we are casually playing a one-side game of patty cake with stone tits, and I'm salivating over this dumb Ash who thinks sticking around to see it crash is a good idea as Yi crawls into a minion anus to dodge her arrow, and long story short, she wasn't the only ADC in that fight with an embarrassing ult. Anyways, I'm just fleeing the crime scene because this battle bunny ass would not fare well in prison when I see this Belveth do something that just further proves she's understaffed in the thinking department, so I sprinkled some sky glitter shitter on her, waited for a mute moron to distract her during all of her 200 years bullshit abilities, and then I euthanized her on account of stupidity to the point of potential self-harm. But call me Pokimane and call this Belveth a 12-year-old rage horny simp, because damn, I had a loyal follower who was desperate for me to step on them, and I can't imagine she responds to such requests, but this was my first, so I had no problem squashing this pay pig. Then everyone has their nipples out trying to be the next biggest thing on TikTok, which has me looking in all the wrong directions, hence my ult being fired at a non-existent amount of enemies before dropping a fat love tap proc on Legolas's wife and letting Lee have some privacy over the wall for his death. This leaves just that dashing douche who looks like someone offering to snuggle hug you with a blanket. As you can see, with just one item, the damage buffs on MF's Q are kind of nutty. Now please see Exhibit F entitled Riot doesn't want Ashe to be the face of Worlds, as my right clicks are on a different level than hers, ignoring the fact that I'm more fed than a bulimic before a barf. I'm now skipping in my simp for me skin when Lee lends me a dragon sperm before violently requesting I give it back, but I don't appreciate being kicked, so I keep it and kill him instead. Then I'm pinglishing the piss out of my support, wondering if I'm gonna have to shit and shave before the next time she pushes R. But luckily all it took was for the other team to show her how to do it, which let me tit tap the dancing blonde before asking Ashe to revoke her membership from being a part of the right click chicks. At this point I have 2 items and too many devs at Riot thinking it was a good idea to buff my ratios, which means the blind will be bursted and back in base, but despite thinking I was being a good influence on my support, she was still googling the nearest all-you-can-eat CC buffet so she gets some time to sit and reflect on her life decisions, and then Darius comes in just to get a piece of the moth cock, leaving me and the eastern button on my mouse left to display some skill. Enter episode 9 of Will This Sona Ult, and sorry for the spoilers, it was a fat no as me and Ashe play follow the flashing leader before Dragon Fist my asshole Lee Sin comes in thinking he can just lift a leg and then beg, but this battle bunny wasn't in the mood to donate, so he had to be deaded. And this whole time I could have sworn I heard some counting up north just to realize those shitters had a top laner who was trying to keep it taco, but I'm more of a burrito guy. Extra queso. Did I mention I'm lactose intolerant? No? Well yeah, I shit all over him. Oh, and turns out Ashe was hella lost asking everyone for directions back to base, so I helped her out, you know, big heart behind these big honkers. And just to double down on how much skill the new face of Worlds it's, I figured I would display some montage-worthy mechanics on the Lux to bring us home. Cat was still about as sharp as a bowl of jello, but at this point I just had to be in the area for scraps, and I quickly learned that if I just went full Air Bud and pretended my brain cell deficient teammates were little cups of pudding and I just had to follow them around, it would inevitably lead to people chasing them for free kills and me getting to clean them up. This went on for a bit until I felt it was time to hit the shopping plaza, until Blondie Locks woke up today and chose violence, so there was only one thing to do. We catch Belveth and her army of void-like butt plugs raiding bot, and I think the fact that this intelligence-absent flamingo was worth shut down should speak volumes about both the recent champ design as well as the fact that the B team queued up on my team tonight, but at least this Lee was consistent in being willing to die for a few more toe taps against a tower, so the Make a Fed Rav Foundation continued to get donations pouring in. Until we get to the intro clip where I cock-block this Lux right before a Megamon. Wouldn't be the first time I've actually driven a girl away from a orgasm. Anyways, the combo came down to make the sky shit, run up to cute blondes and smash blood-filled urethras against keyboard until more gold entered my bag and we ultimately won. Side note, only Katarina players are this mad over a kill steal seconds before winning a game, and this concludes my evidence behind my theory of Riot wanting to sell more MF skins by making her the face of Worlds, because she clearly didn't need a buff, but I figured I would also show a game where I built full AP to show off how they decided to buff those ratios too. This one starts with some colorful words being directed toward yours truly, and for context, I was backing, and despite me and mid pinging MIA because a FedZed was en route, she took all these signals as the glaring green lights to flash into turret aggro and die alone instead of coin flip to dive that would have ended up feeding their mid laner even if we got the kill. But hey, you say tomato, I say your mom should have wrapped her brother's wiggy in that gas station bathroom before she let him bend her over the toilet that night. This one too featured that fucked up broken butterfly with its endless amounts of dashes, but with AP candy cane tits. MF, you just wait and then make big bullets come from all angles before clipping your ult to deprive yourself of the double and you'll be good. But seriously, I would just wait for shield slut Sarah over here, who hated my guts for her own shortcomings in life, to stick her sword up Zippy's shithole. Then I would push E and R to send her to the ER and we were in business. Side note, the abilities got big boy scaling buffs, but your auto attacks are still little feather gooch ticklers, so your support may need to summon a sunfuck to secure some kills. And to be frank, I had ult, my Leo had ult, and all I wanted to do was bond over some synchronized ulting, but she wasn't getting the picture, plus she probably still was molding about her first death, so I took matters in my own hands and then waited for my friend Liandries to make Zeri anguish. Now introducing some side characters to this story. Their Zed was quite fed, which should be implied considering he was laning against a windshitter, and so I come in and do my best impersonation of a whore OnlyFans model after her tits sag, which is basically to watch all the guys in the area look the other way, lose interest and leave. Then I see Miss I burned mommy's house down, thinking she planned her escape route out to perfection, but she didn't account for the fact that I would be there with 8 autos worth of 3 damage each to make sure she dies. This opened up a grand opportunity for me to fix my reputation with this Leona by looking her in the eyes, cuffing her balls, escorting her dive and saying go queen go, which got booger brains dead bitched immediately, and bonus points for me because we got the toddler arsonist as well, so my reputation went from he who doesn't dive to he who got killed by a teddy bear. Now for a little context in the lore of this game. You already have seen that their Zeri has Fountain marked as home in her GPS, but what you may not know is this Rengar, who is recklessly chasing a kill in the unwarded enemy jungle, had been getting his literal shit kicked in by a deer up top and trying to FF from 3 minutes in, so after this incredible demonstration of his own dumbassery, it should be of no surprise to any of you that he left the game. Yeah, I was sad too, Annie, don't have to be all dramatic about it. Also, I had to alter my build because of FedZed for President 2024 over here, but at least it worked like a charm. But I was still convinced we could win, considering Ocean Song Zippy over here was just about as useful as a chocolate teapot, and as long as my Leona was down to call up Daddy Zeus and have him take a deuce to lock down little kids, there was hope. This was my first encounter with the frolicking fawn that made my molding Waldo of a top laner go missing, but I wasn't amused. Then I had to deal with this chick cosplaying as 2018 Ninja, and as I launched a few peppies her way and then waited in utter suspense for Liandries to clock in for work. But my support was not very pleased with my decision to identify as a mage, as if I was gonna just drop it at this point and build an Infinity Edge, but no, I would show her. And if I were to sum up League of Legends in one scene, this is pretty on point. My top laner is AFK from rage quitting after getting shit on, my Yasuo is up top getting caught, and my support is too busy flaming him in chat to peel for me against the super duper fed assassin that he gave 8 kills to. But I apparently am warranting my lord out of this butt chugging virgin of a pissy pant child playing Leona while the enemy gets the LL fucking stylish on Zed super smurfing to make his 19th Zed montage this month on his YouTube channel to 17 viewers by playing 6 elos below his main rank. So one last fight where I die, and then Leona ironically says my Zhonya's would have been a double kill if I was AD, even though that would mean I wouldn't have Zhonya's if I went AD. So dumb bitch, get contradicted with your own argument. I love this game so much, thank God we have Battle Bunny skins, but don't forget you can get them for free by using Buff, who sponsored this video when YouTube monetization probably wouldn't, so use my link below to thank them. Rav out.